Ever heard that feeding birds rice makes their stomachs explode? Or that penguins live with polar bears in the Arctic? Well, guess what? None of that is true. Welcome to Birdie Learning, where today we're busting 10 of the most common and outrageous myths about birds. You're definitely going to want to stick around for this one because things are about to get surprising. Many people assume birds aren't the sharpest creatures around. After all, they have such tiny brains, right? But here's the truth. Birds are incredibly intelligent, and some are as smart or smarter than many mammals like our primate cousins or dolphins. Take crows, for example. These clever birds have been observed using tools like twigs to extract insects from hard-to-reach places. But it doesn't stop there. Crows can recognize human faces and remember if someone treated them kindly or badly. Studies have even shown that they can hold grudges for years. Imagine having a crow that remembers you and can pick you out of a crowd, whether you were nice or not. Then there's the African grey parrot, a bird famous for its brain power. Not only can they mimic human speech, but they also understand the meaning behind some of the words. One particularly famous African grey parrot named Alex could count, identify colors, and even communicate what he wanted for a snack. He wasn't just mimicking, he was actually interacting and reasoning. So, the next time you see a bird, remember that bird-brained might actually be a compliment. They're more observant and clever than you might think. So, we know that birds are far from dumb. But let's tackle another misconception. Are all birds really the same? It's easy to lump them together as creatures with feathers, beaks, and wings. But in reality, birds are one of the most diverse groups of animals on the planet. There are over 10,000 bird species, and they vary wildly in size, color, behavior, and abilities. Take the bee hummingbird, the tiniest bird in the world, measuring just about 2.2 inches in length and weighing less than a dime. This creature can beat its wings up to 80 times per second, and just like other hummingbirds, it is the only bird capable of hovering in place and flying backward. Compare that to the mighty bald eagle with a wingspan of up to 7 feet, soaring effortlessly through the sky and diving at speeds of over 100 miles per hour to catch prey. Birds not only vary widely in size and possess a multitude of abilities, but they also display a rainbow of colors. From the dazzling blue of a peacock's tail feathers to the bold, bright red of a cardinal, birds showcase some of the most striking and diverse color patterns in the animal kingdom. Whether you're looking at their size, their flying style, or their looks, birds are one of the most diverse animal groups. Speaking of how diverse birds are, many people assume that flying is the only way birds get around. Sure, most birds fly, but not all of them. In fact, some birds are masters of other forms of movement, and a few don't fly at all. The ostrich is the largest flightless bird, with some towering over 9 feet tall. They are the fastest two-legged runners in the animal kingdom, able to sprint at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, faster than most humans can ever dream of running. Then, there are penguins. They might look a little clumsy when waddling on land, but once they hit the water, they transform into sleek, agile swimmers. The fastest of the penguins, the Gentoo penguin, can swim at speeds up to 22 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest birds in the water. So while flying may be the signature skill of many birds, some prefer to walk, run, or swim their way through life. Just like how not all birds fly, not all birds migrate either. The idea that every bird packs up and heads south for the winter, that's just another myth. Some species stick around year-round and have developed clever strategies for surviving the cold. The black-capped chickadee is one such bird that stick it out even in the harshest winters. How do they survive? By storing food in thousands of secret stashes during the warmer months and relying on their remarkable memory to find it later when food is scarce during the colder months. The American crow is another bird that doesn't need to migrate. It adapts its diet to whatever is available, no matter the season. Allow it to survive in the same areas as the climate changes. And while many people think of migration as a long-distance journey, some birds, like the American robin, practice altitudinal migration, where they simply move up or down mountain slopes depending on the season. Have you ever heard that touching a bird's egg will cause the mother to abandon it? This is one of the most persistent myths out there, but it's completely false. Birds, in general, have a very limited sense of smell. Most rely on their sharp vision and acute hearing to navigate the world, and they aren't going to notice if you've touched their eggs, even if they notice a faint smell of a human. In fact, birds are extremely dedicated parents, and they won't abandon their eggs or chicks simply because a human came near them. Even if the nest itself has been disturbed, most bird species will return to care for their young once the threat has passed. There are some exceptions, such as ground-nesting birds, who are more sensitive to disturbances, but even they are more likely to return once they feel the area is safe. The myth likely started as a way to discourage people, especially children, from disturbing bird nests. And now for a fun one. Have you heard that birds can die if they eat rice? This has been passed around for years, and some weddings even ban rice throwing because of it. The idea is that dry rice will expand in a bird's stomach, causing it to explode. But don't worry, birds can safely eat rice, making this myth completely false. The reality is, birds can safely eat rice both cooked and uncooked. In fact, many species in the wild naturally consume rice, especially in regions where rice is grown. Grain-eating birds, like sparrows and pigeons, can eat rice without any ill effects. This myth likely gained traction because uncooked rice does expand when it absorbs water, and some people assumed the same thing would happen inside a bird's stomach. However, the digestive system of birds is perfectly equipped to handle grains like rice. Birds have a gizzard, a specialized stomach that grinds up hard food items such as seeds and grains before they pass into the digestive tract. So, rice is perfectly safe for them to eat. Many people think birds don't sleep, but the truth is that they do. They just have different sleep habits than we do. Some birds, like ducks, can sleep with one eye open and half their brain still alert. This allows them to rest while remaining vigilant for predators, a skill called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. Other birds take short naps throughout the day and night rather than sleeping for long periods. And here's something even more surprising. Some migratory birds can sleep while flying. Frigate birds, for example, take micro-naps while soaring high above the ocean during migration, sleeping just a few seconds at a time to avoid falling behind on their journey. It's a romantic idea that all birds mate for life, but the truth is that it's more complicated than that. Albatrosses, for example, are one of the few species that truly do mate for life, forming bonds that last for decades. But many other species, like mallard ducks, only form pairs for the breeding season. Once the season is over, they move on and find new mates the next year. Some birds engage in seemingly monogamous relationships with a twist. The superb fairy wren forms monogamous pairs, yet genetic studies reveal that many offspring are sired by males outside the primary pair bond, indicating a more intricate mating dynamic than meets the eye. Thanks to cartoons and movies, many people believe that penguins live in the Arctic alongside polar bears, but the truth is that penguins are native to the southern hemisphere, and they are most famously found in Antarctica. Polar bears, on the other hand, are native to the Arctic, on the opposite side of the world. So if you've ever pictured a penguin hanging out with a polar bear, you've got your geography a little mixed up. Interestingly, not all penguins live in icy climates. Some species, like the Galapagos penguin, live in much warmer regions and can even be found near the equator. And now, for the grand finale, one myth we've all heard since childhood. What does a bird have to do with delivering babies? It's a classic tale from folklore, but of course, there's no scientific basis to it. This myth likely began in ancient Europe, where storks were seen as symbols of fertility, renewal, and family. Storks tend to return to the same nesting spots year after year, and their strong family bonds probably helped fuel the idea that they were responsible for bringing new life into the world. But as charming as the story is, storks have no connection to human childbirth, other than in fairy tales. So there you have it, the top 10 myths about birds officially debunked. Hopefully, this helped change the way you look at these amazing creatures. And if you want more fun and fascinating facts about the natural world, you won't want to miss our other video where we'll explore the secrets of the fastest bird on the planet, the peregrine falcon.